Thanks so much for showing up at Reconcilable Differences today. I am totally amped that you showed up today. I've been getting a bunch of questions in, and I'm just kind of sorting through those questions, and I'm going to be posting them up in the order that I've been getting them. Today's question is about sin. That is a hot topic. When I tell you that so many people do not realize the possibility of being free from sin, because people teach these things erroneously. Well, let me tell you, today we were traveling around and we were doing a couple of things, and these are some of the things. I just want to describe some things to you. The Father showed me these things as we were driving around and handling our business today, and these are some of the descriptions of sin, some of the ways that sin can be described. One of the things is, when I walked outside today, we have wood in our backyard. We collect, we gather wood and that kind of thing, and we had this wood in our backyard. Well, when I looked at this wood, it is absolutely cut. It is separated from the tree, which means it no longer has a life source. However, these pieces of wood that have been sitting back there and been cut and been away from the tree for several months now are now starting to grow leaves. Amazing, right? So I looked at that and I said to myself, wow, that's amazing. It's cut off from the life source, yet it's still bearing fruit. I noticed that some of the tree remnants were still bearing the fruit. Now, these were trees that, again, have been cut down for some time now and disconnected from their immediate life source. However, they are still producing fruit. And I'm going to get to the bottom of that shortly. I'm going to give you a couple more scenarios that I viewed today. We went to go pick up some wood today. And in going to pick up some wood today, we noticed a pretty similar scenario. This time, the scenario was just a little bit different. What it was the tree that was being cut down appeared to be healthy and whole on the outside. However, it was dead, okay? And you could find the deadness. If you know what to look for in a tree, you'll know where to find out if it's dead or not. It'll have those spots in it where it's an open hole, like a wound, like if you fall and you skin your knee. Well, this tree was being cut down. And when it got cut down, there were pieces that were absolutely rotted on the inside, which meant it had a complete hole on the inside of the tree. Okay, a complete black hole. That means rotting. That denotes rotting. So when you see a tree standing tall and growing fruit still, it does not necessarily mean that that tree is whole, that it is free from disease, that it is healthy. None of that, okay? The tree appears to have life within itself, yet from the core, it is slowly rotting away, bit by bit, because you'll notice that we noticed that on some of the other parts that had not been burrowed through, there were spots on that part. Okay, so you know that because of those spots, that there was going to be more death, more rotting to occur. The purpose of pruning a plant and caring for it is to separate it from the possibilities of disease. Okay, to separate it from the possibilities of death. All right. I have shared with you guys before in John 15:1, and we're going to get there shortly. We're going to get to that verse, the whole idea of being connected to the vine. Okay. But I want to tell you, whether you're separating it from death by keeping it from bug infestation, some plants automatically draw certain bugs that like to destroy the plant or disease the plant. Okay. And you'll go out there and you'll take care of it and you'll spray some kind of natural substance. Well, we're not into the whole spraying stuff with chemicals. That's not our thing. So you'll spray it with some natural concoction like peppers and lemon and, whatever the concoction is that you create. Peppers, lemon, and oil or something. And the bugs hate that. So they leave the plant alone and it deters them from trying to disease the plant. But there are also other things that you need to do in pruning the plant, because if you prune the bad parts, it keeps the death from entering into the rest of the plant and from destroying the rest of the plant. The bottom line is when that disease hits that plant, except to be separated from the rest of the plant, it will be in jeopardy of complete and total death. This is the whole situation with all of these scenarios I just shared with you today. Yeah, the tree looks like it's standing tall and is growing fruit, suppose it, but the death is slowly creeping through the inside of the tree, and eventually there will be no life. Even that tree, that stump, or those pieces that are outside in my yard that are seemingly growing life, well, there is still vitality or life within that stump, within that piece of wood. So it's thriving off of what it already has. It's not gaining new life from an outside source. It's only thriving on what it already has. But eventually, because it is cut off and disconnected from the vine or from the source of life, it will die. Okay. John chapter 15, verses 1 and 2. We talked about this in a previous series, and I would be remiss not to share this again, because this is the foundation of life for us. This is the foundation of life for anybody who would say they are a true believer, a true follower of Yahweh and in the body of the Messiah. This is foundation. This scripture in John 15:1, we're going to start there, says, I am the true vine and my Father is the husbandman. Vine means the base of support for the rest of the branches. Husbandman being the one who cares and labors to protect and care for the vine. He's the farmer, the one who makes sure that everything is thriving and that disease, if it appears to be coming, is cut off. And even at the end of the season, that branch or that vine is cut back so that it can thrive the next year. Verse 2 says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it. Well, we just talked about that. If it's not bearing fruit, it's taken away. It must be pulled up. If it's bearing fruit, then it must be purged. If it is not purged, here's the other thing. If a plant is not purged, it will start defeating its growth. Okay? You get the leaves first and then you get the plants. But guess what? If you start cutting back the leaves while you're growing a plant, and this is a little bit of education that we got while growing plants, and people that are growing all different kinds of plants, this is education that you can take to your yard right now and cause your plants to go bananas. Okay? If you start cutting back the leaves, if you cut the leaves that are under the plant, that are under the actual fruit that's bared, whether it's a flower or whether it's a actual fruit, you cut the leaves that are underneath that and the plant will grow faster. It will grow healthier because the leaves are just a source of life. What they do is they capture the chlorophyll, they capture the oxygen and all that stuff that the plant needs to thrive. But once the fruit is grown, it doesn't need to keep trying to pull in stuff. It needs to start bearing the next set of leaves, because after the next set of leaves come, then the next part of the fruit comes. Okay? Take that to your yard and do something with that. John chapter 15, I'm still there. We're going to go to verse 4. Abide in me and I in you. This is Yahushua speaking. He said, abide in me, because see, he's the vine and we're the branches. He said, if you abide in me and I in you, this is what he wants you to do. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself. Now, we're talking about this topic of sin, and I don't really have a specific question. I think the challenge was made to me yesterday. A person saying, if you're telling me that that a person can live absolutely free from sin, that's a lie. And I'm telling you, no, what you've been taught is a lie. We can live free from sin. Okay. And I'm giving you some information here. This verse 4 says, except ye abide in me, except it abide in me, in the vine, I'm sorry, no more can ye except ye abide in me. It's talking about the branch cannot bear fruit of itself. If you disconnect a branch from the life source, it's not going to produce life of itself. You know, it's a lot smaller. And the vitality is not in that twig. It has to be connected to the vine. Okay. Verse 5 says, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye can do nothing. Absolutely, you can do nothing as far as living free from sin. If you're trying to do it yourself, you slow. It's not going to happen. But if you follow these things that are given you, if you're saying that you're a believer, if you're saying that you're in the kingdom of Yahweh and you're in the family, okay, then there are certain rules. There are certain standards that are set up. You can't create your own standards. It's like living in a kingdom and the king making decrees and you saying, well, I got my own set of rules. No, you got to follow the decrees of the king, okay, in order for your life to be prosperous. If you start going against the decrees of the king, then you're going to be in trouble. And we're just talking about kingdoms as we know them, past and present. Okay. But not one thing can you accomplish